Motorists driving along Main Street in Jasper may soon have another stop sign to deal with. We'll tell you why. Plus, Carrie Schneider returns with our friends at the Du Bois County Humane Society, and Madeline Pelzel, Jason Breyer, and Austin Rothgerber talk about the LEAF program in tonight's edition of Inform. All of that and much more is up next here on the 18 WJTS News. Hello, I'm Bradford Raths. Well, motorists traveling along Main Street in Jasper may soon have to account for another stop sign. This morning, the Jasper Board of Public Works formally approved the addition of a new stop sign for northbound traffic at the intersection of Main and 11th Streets. That's in the area of the Jasper Public Library and Library Annex. The idea to look into that situation was brought up last month after a resident approached city officials with their concerns about pedestrians walking along 11th Street and crossing Main Street to get to and from the library and annex building. The other concern stemmed from vehicles backing out of angled parking spaces in front of the library. Last month, Jasper Police Chief Mike Bennett told the board there had only been 3 accidents in the area within the last 3 years. However, city officials, including engineer Chad Herm, took a closer look at the area and recommended the addition of the stop sign. Jasper Mayor Terry Seitz feels the new 3-way stop will help to make the area safer.
That stop sign will now help that traffic stop in case people are coming out of the library down the main sidewalk and just jumping right over to the annex. It does add a safety feature.
City officials say the stop sign at 12th and Main Streets will remain. The decision to install the new stop sign will now be forwarded to the Jasper Common Council for their final approval. Street Commissioner Ramey Eckerly told the board the new sign will feature a red flashing light on top to alert motorists who are going northbound along Main Street. In other notes, the board held a public hearing about the potential sale of at least 3 properties. The city is currently looking to unload 10 acres northwest of St. Charles Street and Truman Road, the 13-acre 30th Street Park, and the 19-acre Lechner property located near Lechner and Gregory Lanes. The option for selling a 4th property, the 30-acre Bockelman property along Mill Street north of Buffalo Trace Golf Course, would also be on the table. The Jasper City Council has decided to move forward with the sale, and they did so during last month's meeting. Now, the sale of the properties is part of the purchase of the former Jasper Country Club property that was completed last year. Since that purchase, the city has been looking to sell the lands in order to recoup the more than $1 million the city spent out of its rainy day funds to buy the country club. Seitz says the selling of the property will not only help to rebuild that fund, but also put more into the city's tax base.
And ultimately that's important. We have had the property for years. There have been various reasons that we were not able or nothing was able to be done with that. Or in the 30th Street Park, it was just became a park that was in an industrial area. Now with the opening of Howard Drive and the Beeler Park on the north side, we hope that becomes that another neighborhood park in that area. 30th Street is just something that we thought may be a saleable commodity. And again, with looking at some of the larger parks being in development, that's kind of our approach right now.
The board will now send a recommendation for approval to the City Council. City Attorney Renee Kabrick says once the Council gives its blessing, the properties will be sold either at a public auction or the city will request sealed bids. In other news this evening, Du Bois County Sheriff's deputies were kept busy last night with a pair of major arrests. At 6:50 last night, Sheriff's deputies stopped a vehicle at the intersection of 9th and Newton Streets in Jasper for driving left of center and not stopping at a traffic signal. That vehicle was driven by 30-year-old Brett Bradley of Lagodi. A Jasper Police K-9 unit was called to the traffic stop, and the K-9 indicated to police that there were drugs in the vehicle. Police found what they believed to be methamphetamine in the vehicle, and they also found several precursors used in the making of meth and other drug paraphernalia, including Xanax. Deputies say the traffic stop was made within 1,000 feet of a public park, making the charges against Bradley even more severe. Bradley was lodged in the Du Bois County Security Center. He faces 3 felony counts and 1 misdemeanor. Those counts are 2 Class D felonies, one for possession of precursors and the other for possession of a controlled substance, a Class B felony for possession of methamphetamine, and a Class A misdemeanor for possession of paraphernalia. He is currently being held on a $10,000 cash bond. Then, at about 7 o'clock last night, deputies were called to a home in the 8400 South block of State Road 145 south of Birdseye on a report of a battery that had taken place. Deputies say 30-year-old David Porter of Ferdinand had gone to the home in spite of a protective order that had been put in place, banning him from being there. Deputies say Porter hit a man in the head and other parts of the body with a baseball bat. Porter was taken into custody and lodged in the DuBois County Security Center. He faces a Class C felony for battery with a deadly weapon and a Class B misdemeanor for invasion of privacy. Third grade students in the Southwest DuBois School Corporation will get to utilize iPads next school year. Last night, the Southwest DuBois School Board approved purchasing the iPads to be used in third grade classrooms across the district. Superintendent Mike Eineman says roughly 130 iPads in all will be bought for the third graders. He says the cost will likely be somewhere in the $60,000 range. Eineman says this decision is the culmination of a year's worth of discussions.
We've been looking at technology all year long with our technology committee and with 5 Star Solutions coming on board. They're going to give us a little bit more direction as to what we need with iPads, even any type of technology. But the third graders for next year, they have them now in the second grade level. So it would be pretty difficult for them to just not have anything for next year. And I think to keep it continuing on, I think it is the best move for us to start right there at the third grade level.
Eineman says the corporation is also looking at technology needs for the high school and middle school levels, though no decisions have been made there. Also last night, the board approved changes to its policy of awarding letters and other major awards. Under the new policy, the school district will no longer buy letter jackets for its students. Students will be able to get a letter jacket on their own as soon as they earn it, according to Eineman. Additionally, the policy addresses concerns about discipline for students in extracurricular activities versus regular students. The new policy now includes standards for students who participate in those activities. On a final note, last night was also full of recognition for a job well done all across the Southwest District. The corporation held its annual awards ceremony at 6 o'clock last night at Memorial Gym. Parents and family members filled one side of the gym to watch the ceremony, which honored students in grades 3 through 12. Holland Elementary teacher Stacy Kapner was also recognized at last night's board meeting for her recent selection for this year's Peabody Leaders in Education Award program. Eineman says seeing so many people honored is a big deal.
It's a great opportunity for them to come down and they get recognized for academics, and or some of them also play sports, but you know, tonight was academic awards. So it's a good thing for the corporation and also for Mrs. Kapner that she won that Peabody Award. So she'll get to go to dinner next fall, and then she will be in a group being selected as Teacher of the Year in the area. So she's got a chance to win another award next fall.
The board also recognized its Students of the Month last night. This month's winners were Holland Elementary 5th grader Elijah Horton, Huntingburg Elementary 5th grader Corey Peters, Matthew Price, a 7th grader at Southridge Middle School, and Southridge High School senior Logan Salmon. Finally this evening, the DuBois County Corrections Center got a shot in the arm today. This morning, the center received a performance incentive check for just over $20,932 from the Indiana Department of Corrections. Department Commissioner Bruce Lemon and Director Mike Lloyd were among those on hand for this morning's presentation. Now, the County Corrections Center was recently given a Level 1 rating from the state's Department of Corrections. The rating criteria was based on 3 factors, and these are the number of Class D felons diverted from the State Department of Corrections, an annual site assessment score, and a written grant. The number of felons diverted accounted for half of the score, while the other 2 categories each garnered 25%. Community Corrections Director J.P. Weissite says the bonus means a lot to the center. He says a lot of people helped to make the award possible.
It's not just me, it's all the people that work here. They've all put in a lot of effort to make this thing what it is today. We've come a long way since I started here 8 years or so ago. And right now, our evidence-based practices programs, we're top of the line with those. We're out there doing as good a job with treatment programs as everybody else in the state, I believe.
DuBois County Community Corrections was one out of 19 such programs statewide to be honored with the Level 1 designation. All right, coming up after the break, Carrie is back with our friends at the DuBois County Humane Society, and a wet spring continued yesterday afternoon. We'll tell you if that's going to be the case the rest of the week coming up in your local forecast.